PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paequality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory. Hello.
Hi, you guys.
How are
How
you?
are you?
I'm okay.
All right, today we are talking to Mela. Mela is a disability, chronic illness, and mental health advocate. She works in behavioral health and loves to help people who are struggling. She is also on the board of Healing and CPTSD Foundation as a chronic illness and disability advocate. She loves to share online as a content creator about her life, advocacy, and fashion and beauty. Welcome, Mela. It's great to have you.
Welcome. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming to talk to us, and let's start some fun. So, what got you kind of started in doing the content creation and advocacy that you're doing?
I just was always sharing on social media since like the beginning of its conception. Like I remember having MySpace back in the day, and when Facebook originally came out, my mom said I couldn't make a Facebook, and I was like, I'm gonna do a Facebook. So I like the connection of connecting to other people around the world. And then when I became ill and disabled and started struggling with all these things, I realized the community, the best community I've ever come across is the disability community online. Like it's been a gift, actually. Like I would say, like people can feel like a disability can be a gift. Other people can feel like it's a burden. Other people can feel like it's both. I feel like it's both. Sometimes I feel like it's a burden on me. Other times I feel like it's a gift. But when it comes to the online community, I feel big time the disability community is a gift.
I completely agree with that. Ever
Yeah.
since I was able to kind of connect with people, it has been such a huge, like, welcoming and friendly and just wonderful people.
Yeah, I want to add to it the community is my own perspective and experiences.
And that's the best way to help the community and to
Yes.
help everyone move along. That's why we want to do this and started this podcast. So
Oh, okay. That's why you guys started the podcast mainly.
Yes.
Yeah, to help everyone and spread the word and let everyone share their stories, provide a platform.
Yeah, because, I mean, stories are important. It's easy to disregard somebody when you can't put a story or a name to a face. If you just
Yeah.
think in the abstract of those people, it's easier to kind of push people aside, and it's easier to think, well, I don't have to worry about them. But as soon as you start to hear their stories and you get the understanding that these are actual people, they're not just abstract type of thing, that's when you kind of realize that you can't just push them off and ignore them anymore. And that's
Yeah.
why we both want to share everybody's stories so that everybody has a chance to show that we're human and we're here. We've always been here. We're just as important. Things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I saw something online recently about how disability and illness has been here since the beginning of humankind.
Yes.
We've had these disabilities and illnesses, and if we've had it from the beginning of humankind, why are we so marginalized and silenced, I feel like, and like put like behind closed curtains, I feel like. But I feel like the more we share online, the more we're putting ourselves out there, and like we're here, we want to be cared about. We're, like you said, human beings that deserve respect, rights, love,
Yes.
connection. Yeah.
And not only has it been here since the beginning of time, it's going to happen to pretty much everyone. At some point in
Yeah.
your life,
I
you
say
are
that too.
going to be disabled. And
Yeah.
yet, everyone, or not everyone, but it's a very marginalized group, and it doesn't make sense at
No,
I
all.
agree.
it doesn't make
Couldn't
sense.
agree more.
And like, if you ask the social scientists, what is the first sign of a civilization? And it's always when they started to heal broken bones. So, if civilization didn't start until they started taking care of the, I guess, like what's the word I'm trying to think of? The disabled people, for lack of a better way to put it. There was this like specific sentence I was trying to think of and I couldn't think of it. But if that's the sign of a civilization, when they take care of their disabled people, then why are we trying to go backwards and hide, our disabled people, and myself included? Why do we want to do that? It
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. It seems kind of just ridiculous to
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah, I don't understand it all. So I wanted to talk about your work in the behavioral health and what you do there, and with CPTSD and all of that. I recently found out I have CPTSD, and I'm a big mental health advocate, very interested in all of that. Are you like a coach or a therapist type of thing, or how do you work in the field?
Okay, so I work for a behavioral health insurance company, which hate and love at the same time. Hate because insurance,
Yes.
love because
Yeah.
behavioral health and helping people. And I can be an advocate in it. But I do intake, so I like handle, well, I work from home because I can't do any other type of job outside of the home because of my health issues and disabilities. And I take phone calls over the phone, and I talk to people, whether like they're going through a crisis, and like literally sometimes I have someone who's like, I don't know, like I don't want to trigger people, but like ready to just, be done with life pretty much. Um, or sometimes they're just like, I just want a therapist, or I'm interested in this kind of mental health treatment, or my son has autism and like I want to get him into ABA services, or maybe more types of like administrative insurance type questions that I can answer. So it's like a wide range of calls that I get, and sometimes they're very heavy and serious, and I can really feel the emotion and the empathy in me gets touched. And then other times it's very like clerical type work. So yeah.
Do the tougher calls sometimes, I guess, trigger you or affect you? Does it hurt?
I
Like,
think in the beginning it really did, especially because when I was just starting off, I was learning the ropes, and one time I got a call and I wanted to get them to the right crisis area right away. They really wanted to go, like they were like telling me like I'm gonna do something right now, and instead of transferring them to a therapist, I hung up on them. And I, till this day, like that was years ago. I started this job years ago, like I don't know, 3 years ago at this point. 3 years have gone by, and like still I like just talking about it, I have like goosebumps and chills. Like I'm just like, what if it's on me that they, you know
yeah,
they're not here? Like, it makes me want to cry right now. But like, I just yeah, those are tough. And like the more though I've gotten confident in my job and the longer I've done it, like that's never happened again. There's no way I'm gonna let that happen again. And like now it's more of, I want to just take care of people, and I have a very nurturing side, and I feel very motherly towards everyone I talk to on the phone. And it comes more as if like people are my children, and I just want to nurture them, and I don't feel too stressed about the job anymore.
yeah. Being
Yeah.
very empathetic and feeling people's feelings. I always thought jobs like that, or being a 911 dispatcher, something like that, would be so difficult, and all the problems. I would take it so hard, and so it's definitely something we all need people doing. And thank you for doing
Yeah.
that, and I commend you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do. Just feeling, listening to the stories that we get to listen to, and talking to the people that we get to talk to. Some of the stories just, it kind of physically hurts me sometimes because of how awful some people can be.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is hard. And I agree with Mike, thank you for doing that, because it is not that all jobs are like, walk in the park, but this truly is a difficult job to do, to have to, direct people to where they need to be, especially within healthcare, because our healthcare system is kind of hugely broken.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking while you and Mike both were sharing your thoughts on this job, something funny happened to me not funny. Oh my God, why am I saying funny? What's wrong with me? Like, honestly, I feel like in the disability and chronic illness community, like, we have such dark humor. We find like the worst stuff about our lives funny.
Yep.
But I recently got COVID, and with having several autoimmune diseases and being on 4 immunosuppressants, like, my doctors are all like, oh my God, like, we got to make sure you're okay. And like, all of them were telling me I needed to go to the ER. And it got to a point where like, I could not hold my body up, and my brother was literally holding me up like in my own kitchen. And I called 911 because I didn't have a way. I don't drive. I didn't have a way of driving myself, and plus I could barely hold my body up. So the paramedics came and took me on the stretcher and everything. And I was talking to the paramedic, even though I felt awful about her job, and I was commending her and thanking her, because I'm like, they don't get enough thanks, I feel like. But she told me, she's like, your job is harder. I said, no, your job is harder. And we kept going back and forth. And I was like, there's no way. Like, you're dealing with like people dying and blood. And I don't know, like, I just imagine like crazy stuff. And she was trying to tell me that my job was harder. And I really still disagree with her.
I think they're both very hard.
Yeah.
Because there's always the give and take of both what you do. It's, you don't have the physical as much as an EMT would, but you get more of the mental and emotional totals, I would think. Whereas EMTs, they have to, unfortunately, watch people die sometimes, but they, I think, are just so like going on adrenaline at that moment that it's not quite as harsh. And if I'm wrong, please, EMTs come out and say.
I don't think any of us are paramedics here, right?
No, I couldn't do it. I have a fear of vomit, and I don't like seeing a lot of other sick stuff, so I could never do it.
I physically can't lift people up, but the vomit bothers me, but the blood doesn't. Honestly, it's just like, if I have to hear broken bones, that's the part that bothers me.
No.
That's the part that drives me nuts.
So can we talk about your autoimmune diseases that you brought up?
I'll have a fun time saying 2 of them because I can't pronounce them.
I guess my first question is, when were you diagnosed? And did you have troubles getting diagnosed?
I think, around 24. Troubles? Yes and no. I'm a fighter. My therapist says it. My family says it. My person I'm kind of in a relationship with says it. And I knew that I had to fight right away to get a diagnosis. And I was thankfully a fighter. So I also did a lot of research. And I know some people are against self-diagnosing, but like, I feel like we know our body best. And like, I kind of already knew what I was feeling. I knew something was wrong. Like, I knew I had something serious. And I did do research, and I pretty much self-diagnosed. And then when I went to see the doctor, they diagnosed me with what I diagnosed myself with. And then 2 years went by, and like, I broke out with rashes all over my skin. And then they changed my diagnosis to a very similar one. So they diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis initially, and then they changed it to psoriatic arthritis. And then after psoriatic arthritis, they did an MRI of my back, and they're like, oh, you also have these 2 other autoimmune diseases. And I have psoriasis too. These 2 other autoimmune diseases, which I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. It's like axial spondyloitis and axial spondyloarthritis and ankylosing spondylitis or something, arthritis, whatever.
Yep.
I know whoever has it and is listening, they know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Maybe you guys have heard of them too, but
Yes.
I always butcher the names, and I have lived with it for years now. So, yeah, the diagnosing process, like I said, like because I pushed so hard, I was able to get a quick diagnosis. But the hard part was when they had to change it, when they, got it wrong, I guess.
And sadly, the self-diagnosing seems to be like what you have to do nowadays in order to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to look it up yourself. You have to do all that research and go to the doctor with that. Otherwise,
They seem to brush you off. a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
brush
times.
you off. They gaslight you.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't
Yeah,
get me started.
it's really sad. It's gotten to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I feel like they want to I don't know. I mean, I think they're trained. I'm not a doctor, right? And I didn't get training, but I think they're trained to kind of label you with these smaller, less serious things, or just say it's stress or anxiety. And especially for me, I label myself as a woman. Like I feel like a woman. I feel as a woman in my experience as a lived experience as a woman that we tend historically we've been labeled hysterical and all this stuff, and now we're being labeled anxious. And I will say at the very beginning, the first doctor I had did label me with anxiety too, and he gave me anxiety medication and mental health medication, but that still didn't help me, and I wanted to pursue it more after that. So yeah.
And it's not to say that we don't get depressed or anxious, especially when you have something wrong, something's wrong, and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to have those issues. But it's the question of whether or not your diseases, whether, they kind of start the depression and anxiety, or if you're anxious because you have to go to the doctor, tell the doctor what you think it is, and kind of go through all of the steps that a doctor is supposed to do. And, you have to do it yourself, which kind of raises my anxiety, having to, do all that research, having to think of all the different things that it could possibly be, and, go through all of the symptoms and say, nope, yes, no, yet kind of thing, going back and forth. I would think that would kind of cause some anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. And I've had to actually lie to doctors before. I've had doctors who gaslight and are really mean. And I have a tremor or a tic where I shake my legs a lot. And when I am anxious, the shaking and the tremor is worse. But just because I shake or have tremors doesn't mean I'm anxious either.
Right.
But at the appointment, I was anxious and my legs were extra shaky. And she's like, I think you're having all these problems because you're anxious. I can see it from you shaking your legs. And I was like, well, actually, I don't shake my legs just because of anxiety. It's because it's a tic. It's I grew up this way. My mom has the same issue. But she was trying to, and she even documented. I always check the doctor's notes because sometimes they bullshit and put stupid shit on the notes that I didn't even say or think. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to swear?
Oh, yes. You're
Okay.
fine.
And she put, I believe patient is anxious, but she denied anxiety, although she was shaking her legs or whatever. And
Wow.
with her, I've had to fight harder than anyone with her to get the care and treatment. And she didn't want to get all these tests done for me. And I was feeling nauseous. I was feeling all these horrible GI symptoms. I even had blood in my stool. Sorry to be gross and specific, but
fine.
I felt like this stuff was very serious, and she wasn't taking me seriously. So I had to push for these tests. And guess what? She found out my gallbladder wasn't functioning and that I needed surgery. It was that serious. It's are you freaking kidding me? I have to beg you to do these tests. Turns out the entire time my gallbladder is not functioning well.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it shouldn't. I understand that sometimes some people really are just anxious or, upset about things, and it can manifest into other things. I get that. I'm not denying that. However, sometimes it really is because we are sick. We aren't coming to you because we want a list of diagnoses and, we want to be able to show off to our friends, hey, look, I've got this huge list here of 20,000 different diagnoses. Isn't that cool? Nobody says that.
No.
And you're right. We know our bodies better than anybody else because we live in them. You know, they always say, like, for pediatricians, they always tell you, as a parent, you know your children best.
Yeah.
So if that's the case for our children, then why can't they ever listen to us when we talk about our bodies?
Right.
I mean,
Know your children best, but you don't know yourself.
right. I mean, it's not like we take them off at night and, you know, hang our bodies up at night and, you know, just ghost laying in the bed or something. We don't switch bodies or anything, even though that would be cool. But that's a whole other topic. But still, it just doesn't make sense that they would think that we wouldn't know our bodies well enough.
You're making me think of something I saw recently. I wish that I would have come up with this myself, but it was like, doctor says, I have 15 years of medical school and GI issues or whatever. Well, it's like, I'm 29. I have 29 years of living in a body with GI issues. Who do you think knows better here? Like,
Exactly. And that is 100% true. Like, again, there are some people who are looking for a diagnosis because they, you know, have, as they like to call it, malingering, which I think is a terrible way to put it. And those people need help. You can't brush those people off. And then there are also people who really are suffering from those illnesses. And again, you can't brush them off. You actually have to listen. You took an oath to do no harm. The whole point of doing no harm is to then actually do your job, and instead of us having to do your job for you. Not always is it going to be, when you hear the hoof beats, you're not always going to hear or see horses, I should say. Sometimes it really is a zebra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In my case, it's lots of zebras.
So are you in chronic, constant pain from your issues?
Constant pain every second of my existence. And
Yeah.
I still have a smile on my face right now.
Yeah, and
People are like, how are you? You don't look like it. I'm like, I am. Trust me, I am. I've learned to live with it.
The dreaded, you don't look sick.
yes. God, I hate that term. Because, like, I'm sorry, I don't have to, you know, lay in bed and be depressed, sad, and paint my face all sad like a clown or something. Would that look better, sick? I mean, you know, what does sick really look like?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, this world isn't made for people. I don't know what you guys struggle with. I'd like to say like us. I feel some kind of camaraderie with you guys already. But for people like me, maybe you guys too, the world isn't made for people who are in suffering to allow them to be in suffering. Like, to be quite honest with you, like, if I've been out of work because of disability, I've been really struggling badly, and like I've been in bed a lot resting, and I have felt so much better just by like I need that rest. However, even for people who are disabled and on disability benefits, that's not enough to live. Like you have to find other means of living. If in my situation, I cannot qualify for disability because I work too much, but I barely make the limit of financial money to be able to like qualify for disability. So like I can't be on disability. I'm barely there. If I make a little less, then I could get on disability. But if I make a little less, I can't put food on the table. I don't have the family support. I don't have the community support. I don't have people or a partner who can financially take care of me while I can wait to get on disability. So like realistically, I deserve to be in bed in my suffering and rest and take care of myself. But the situation is, I have to force myself to work and push through the teeth grinding pain. And sometimes I'm crying and the other people on the phone don't know it, or I'm like having nausea and feeling like vomiting while I'm on the, you know, like I have all these things, but it's like, as a disabled person in this world, you have to push through. Unfortunately, you have to push through the pain and the suffering and the lack of access and the ableism and like everything's against us, but we have to keep fighting and going forward. And I think maybe that's why I just love everyone who's disabled. I'm just like, I know the same struggle you have. Like we're all in the same boat, you know?
We are.
Yep.
And I mean, to answer your question, I have CRPS, which is chronic regional pain syndrome. And it is constant pain. Like
sorry.
It's okay. Well, I mean, it's not okay, but you know what I mean.
It's not okay.
But my baseline is like a 4 to 6, depending upon the day.
Me too. Exactly. Same.
And it is frustrating because sometimes you have to do stuff. Like, I'm fortunate in the fact that I get to stay home right now. Mike is able to work outside the home, and I'm able to be home. And when I was working, it was awful.
Yes.
I was constantly in pain. I was exhausted. I was falling asleep sometimes in the middle of, my teaching classes.
Oh my God.
I fall
I've
asleep
been
at
there
work all
too.
the time.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of feeling of exhaustion though.
Yeah.
When you're constantly in pain, and it is hard to push through and keep smiling, because if you dare even show a hint of you're not okay, then everybody thinks you're some sort of pariah.
Yes.
And so I do thank God that I have Mike able to do that, to help me along, because I'm able to be home. But it's still not much easier.
Yeah.
It's just different. And but I do agree that this world was not meant for any of us.
It isn't. It can be made for us though.
Yes.
It can. It is possible to, but it's not built that way. Unfortunately, the people who decided to build our society the way it is have not built it for us.
And the people in charge now aren't helping.
No.
They're taking it the wrong direction.
Yeah. And
But also, when you were talking about disability, we kind of feel you on that one. Dory has tried for disability 3 or 4 times now, and they keep rejecting her, probably because I make money and she could technically work if she sits down all day. But so they keep denying her, which doesn't make sense, because I know people that have gotten disability for far less. And it's just so hard to get any help from the government when you're disabled.
And they make the process so hard. It's a lot of work, and as a disabled person, you have and a chronically ill, you have so much limited energy, so much limited spoons.
Yes.
Energy,
And I can't concentrate all the time, especially if I have a flare. There's no way in hell.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I can't imagine why they would think that anybody with any type of chronic pain could function
Yeah.
100% in any kind of job. And the fact that we either have to create our own jobs or beg a government to help us is ridiculous. We need to make this better for all of us, because we can all contribute in some way, whether it's giving care, being a friend, being a lover, just showing up and saying, hey, those are contributions to our society that are just as important as whether or not you make $1 billion a day,
Yeah.
if not more, actually. I think it's more important than if you make $1 billion a day.
Absolutely.
Because I guarantee you, we're the ones that are busting ass while they're just sitting there kind of, you can go do that.
Absolutely. I don't disagree.
They're telling other people how to make their money while we're going out trying to make it ourselves. And we're doing the work. They're just sitting there because they've got the money. They don't need to do the work.
Well, they need to do the work.
They do, but not in their heads.
No. I mean, they need to do the work.
Yes, I agree.
They need to stop getting mommy and daddy's help and then telling us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But that's a whole other topic. I don't want to get off topic too much because I will happily rant, and I have before. But
Yes. You guys make me want to rant about a lot. I just got to say that.
and that's okay. You can rant away, please do, because I want to make sure that they understand that we're not going back in the shadows.
No.
We're not going back for the ugly laws and all that bullshit where we have to stay locked in a house because, God forbid, somebody realizes that we're humans. I don't care what your background is. I don't care at all. If you're a human, you deserve dignity. We shouldn't...
Amen.
Thank you. We shouldn't have it where, just because you're quote-unquote pretty and you're tall and you're thin and you're not disabled and you're not mentally disabled or anything like that, that you are more worthy than us.
Yes. The world seems to benefit that type more than it does the complete opposite type, but the complete opposite type is the one that needs the most care.
Yes.
Yep.
And what's funny is that a lot of times, because we're forced into those situations of having to figure things out, because nobody wants to help or nobody wants to provide us with the resources that we need, we end up innovating so many things that have benefited those quote unquote beautiful people, like the cutouts on, sidewalks, telephones, cell phones, talk to text, microphones, cameras, all of those things had something to do with an invention made for or by somebody who was disabled.
Yeah, the world benefits from caring about disabled people ultimately, but they don't see it that way, unfortunately.
No, they don't. And it pisses me off.
I know.
Since we're on the topic of disabled people getting screwed, you work for insurance, and I know that's a big problem with getting help as a disabled person. We've had issues with that. Not to put you on the spot, but do you have any ideas or suggestions for people on how to help get through to insurance or how to work with insurance?
This tip I'm going to give is not a good tip because it's a sad tip. But my God, you just have to fight and advocate for yourself and push. And if the person who on the phone who you're speaking with in insurance doesn't seem like they have the heart to help, just ask for a fucking supervisor. Just escalate the whole issue. Just make a drama about it. Make a show about it. Stomp your feet. Slap someone in the face. Okay. I don't know. But when people talk to me, I'm like, I'm fighting for people. And my bosses know it. They're like, you're a fighter for people. I'm like, if I can do anything to help them, especially when it comes to insurance stuff, I'm there. I want people to get the care that they need. And I feel like there's a lot of people in my job, other people that I hear about, they're doing just the bare minimum in the job. And they're just like, yeah, this claim got denied because of X, Y, and Z. And that's it. There's nothing you can do. I mean, if you want to appeal, you can appeal or whatever. And it's like, no, for me, it's like, let me find the loopholes. Let me figure something out for you. This is not how the world should be. I guess I'm the person that I wish that people were for me.
Yes.
At my job.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying before, it's frustrating, it's sad, and it's just sometimes depressing, the fact that we have to be the advocates that we should have had growing up.
Yeah.
Or, everybody should have that one person in their corner that can help them.
Yeah.
And why do we pay insurance if they're not going to cover shit? I don't understand. Just like we pay taxes. You work for us. We are paying your salaries.
But also, if a doctor is saying, my patient needs X, Y, and Z, and insurance is denying it, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need, the doctor saying I need this. Who are you to deny the care?
Exactly.
That happens way too much.
And they claim it's because, doctors are going above and beyond. I want the doctor to go above and beyond because I want to be able to be here. What a lot of them don't understand is that if you let everybody fucking die, who the fuck is going to be there to pay your salary?
Exactly. Yeah, I know. My tip kind of sucks. But, if you have a specific scenario, I can give you better advice, honestly. So if you guys ever want to hit me up and you're struggling with something insurance-wise, trust me, I know a lot of loopholes. A lot of laws that people don't realize are there that can cover things that, insurance usually wouldn't cover or something, because they just want to deny for... I do think insurance likes to deny for the fucks, whatever. I just want to deny you. So
and honestly, I think your tip is good because I think a lot of people are afraid to speak up and to fight back. And they're afraid if they do, I don't know what'll happen, but even I was in that boat for a long time in my life where I was always just kind of afraid to fight back or to speak up. So I think that's a great tip.
Yeah,
and it lets people know.
Tip, though, because I feel like if you're already struggling, I've had situations where fighting on the phone takes up so much of my energy. I'm by the time I'm off, all I can do is lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And visually, to give a metaphor, it's I feels like a fish out of water. You're just flopping there struggling, and it's you can barely breathe or you need water, and it's you need help and you have to still fight while you're out of water. It's
Yep.
I hate that advice. I hate that I have to say that, but also as a society, we've only advanced and gotten human rights and stuff because there's been fighters, because we fought, because we haven't given up the fight. So it's what we have to do, sadly.
Very sadly, because it should just, the Constitution says, these are inalienable rights. life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm paraphrasing, but it shouldn't have to be written down. It should just be a given. You know, we're people. Why the hell do we have to write everything down to make other people realize that you shouldn't take advantage? You shouldn't kill. You shouldn't have to, deny people their basic life. And it's frustrating, the fact that if we don't have the laws that we have now, they never would have been put in. A lot of the amendments were because a shitload of people died so that we could have those rights, because they were denied them.
Died fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous that we have to do that. But patriarchy, fucking patriarchy,
Yep.
screws everything up. And they don't even realize it half the time.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Please, go ahead.
Where does the queer part of your podcast come in? Like, where is that?
I am queer. I am specifically, I am bisexual. And we have family members, close family members, that are also a part of the alphabet. And so that's kind of where that came in. And Mike is straight. He's weird.
He's the weird one.
Yes,
Yes.
He's the weird one. We're the cool ones.
So do you guys only do podcasts with other queer disabled people, specifically that have to be queer or disabled? Or are you open to just disabled people too, or just queer people too? Or...
You can be either or both. We
cool.
We're not like strictly.
You don't discriminate.
No, not at all. And if you're an advocate, we'll talk to you too.
Cool.
Honestly, the beginning, our thought was marginalized groups, but that includes everyone but white males. And that's pretty much a lot of people. So right now we kind of wanted to focus on more niche groups. So that's where we went with the disabled and LGBTQ, because we know it.
We're the first ones that are on the front lines when shit slides into fascism.
Yeah.
We're always the first ones to go. And I don't want to be the first one to go. I don't want to be the last one to go. I don't want to go. So, if it means that I have to speak up and help other people speak up, I will happily do that.
Good for you. Yeah, it's hard watching like all, especially marginalized communities' rights being taken away. It's just hard. It's hard. Yeah.
And the fact that so many people are like, yay, this is great. For who? Yeah. Because even if you're a white man, you still benefited from everybody else having those rights.
Yeah.
Because now, if all of it's repealed or, destroyed, whatever they decide to do, white men who don't 100% own their houses are still screwed. They are left behind. And that's what they don't seem to understand, is that if we go back to the way it was originally, the only people who could vote were white, wealthy landowners who were Protestants. Couldn't be Catholic. You couldn't you couldn't have a loan, nothing. You had to own it 100%. And you had to have money. So if you're not, in those categories, your skin color ain't going to help you. It only, the approximate to power does not help you in those situations. You still end up screwed. You still end up marginalized, just like the rest of us. So, I mean, what do you want? To have to realize that you're mediocre and maybe try better? Instead of trying to suppress everyone else's, dare I say it, but I mean, like, we're forced to be superior. We have to work 2 to 3 times harder than most white people, and specifically white men. No offense, Mike, because we're not the quote unquote default. So the fact that a bunch of mediocre people who couldn't get into West Point, who couldn't really get into Harvard, except for the fact that mommy and daddy paid their way for it, that's not my problem. It's not my fault. You suck. That's on you. Do better. Be better. Taking me down with you is not the way to go, because I will do it kicking and screaming, and you will regret it.
Yeah.
And if you touch anybody who I love, who I've become friends with, I consider family now, you will definitely regret that. And
that's why we started this podcast.
yes, sorry. I am very, like, my neurodivergence. We also talk to neurodivergent people too, and it's a part of that. Just,
Yeah.
I have a strong sense of justice and being fair, and just, I can't sit back and watch people who are, pushed aside just because they had the nerve to be born brown, or the nerve to be born black, or the nerve to be born female. Whatever it is that you dared to be born as. And it's not the quote unquote status, and, you dared to be disabled or anything like that. And why are our lives expendable?
Right.
They're not. We're just as important. We can do just as much. And, sometimes in certain situations it can be less. And that's okay. Love and caring and having, relationships should be more important than whether or not your 401k is $2 billion.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We have genuine friends. Whereas they have to sit there and look over the shoulder constantly because they never know if the person that claims to be their friend isn't robbing them blind.
Right.
So
That's a fair point, actually. Really, honestly.
I mean, which sounds better? Having all the money in the world and always having to look over your back because somebody's going to come and take it, just like kings and all those stuff. Somebody is always going to come behind you to take it. So, do you want that target on your back, that specific target, never knowing if you have real friends or family? Or do you want actual friends and family and do right by people? Because I guarantee you those that do right by people have more friends and family than the ones that don't.
And they're happier.
Hell of a lot happier. I mean, who gives a fuck if two gay people, lesbians, men, whatever, are in love and get married? It doesn't change anything.
I don't get it, man. I don't, like, my brain does not work the way theirs works. I'm just
Yes, I don't understand that.
love is love, god damn it. Like, I don't get it. My brain I wasn't like that, so.
It doesn't make sense to me either. And I look at it and I'm like, this is great. How do you look at something so beautiful and say, ew?
Right.
And, I think it's honestly because of jealousy of some sort. They're not happy. That's not my fault. That not you, but in general, those people aren't happy. Make yourself happy. I hate to say that because when you have depression, you really can't make yourself happy. But in their case, mind your own fucking business and fix your life.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if you fix your shit, you'll be happier and have less time to worry about everybody else's shit. Because
Agreed.
I don't, go trolling around. Ooh, I see some lesbians. Let's go make fun of them. No, I don't see that. I don't understand that. I see love. Happy family. Awesome. Cool. And then I go on my merry way being happy myself because I have my own family and friends and I'm amassing this huge group of people. And I'm sorry, I'm like rambling and making this all about me, and it's not about me because it's about you. And it's just, sorry. I will shut up now. I don't mean to take your time.
Oh no, you're fine. I feel, I don't know if the right word is much aligned with your ways of thinking. I feel very, very similar, and I think you got the fight in you that I have too. Even though the life and energy has been stolen from me by illness, I'm still a fighter. It's still in me.
You still have a voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and for the people that don't have voices, because, they think nobody listens to them, or they physically cannot talk anymore because of some sort of disease, especially like ME, CFS, that takes speech from you. I'm still here to talk for you, and, you're worthy. Keep fighting.
Before we started this podcast, and part of what kind of pushed us to do this, I think I said this on a prior episode, but I had said just me doing it or just me saying it doesn't do anything. I'm just one person. It doesn't help. And now I realize how stupid that was. But having started this podcast, I can see how one voice can make a difference, because it's not just one, it's a lot combined, and every one that gets added to that makes a difference. So
Absolutely.
your
I've
voice
always felt
matters,
strongly that
everyone.
way.
Yes.
I've always felt strongly that way. I mean, side topic, but like I care about the environment a lot, and like try to make choices every day that are sustainable, whether that's like using glass straws or, you know, using a metal, I'm just giving examples, a metal toothpaste tube instead of a plastic one. That's little things I do. But one time I went to a doctor's office and I was talking to him about my passion to make those little changes in the world. And he said, what you're doing isn't going to change the world. Just you one person like making these choices isn't going to do anything. I said I disagreed and tried to change the topic to make it more about the medical appointment. But when I went home, I was like thinking, just big fuck you to you. Like,
Yeah.
I have never agreed with that mentality. Like, it's just like, I do believe in the power of people. And like I mentioned before, like society has changed and we've gotten human rights because of people who have fought. And people wouldn't have fought if there wasn't one person who decided I want to fight.
Right.
You know?
Sometimes all it takes is that one person to make the first step, and everybody else will come running up to have their back. And you know, creating and doing those little things does help. You should never feel like you are just you, because just you is just as wonderful and important as everybody else. And I don't care what that doctor says, but doing the little changes makes a huge difference. It's a ripple effect, you know, like, and environment does pertain to disability and LGBTQ, because you know, a lot of people become disabled because of the environment. And you know, we've got Maha crap now where it's a bunch of grifters, you know, RFK Jr. being the top one right now, telling us, well, we need to be healthy and such. And yes, that would be great. But you know how to do that. You have to pay attention to the environment. You have to make sure that we have clean air and clean water to drink. Because if those aren't, guess what happens? You become disabled.
Yeah, sick and disabled.
Right. And so those are the big things. And, you know, don't worry about glucose. It's just sugar. Damn it. We need sugar. And if you can't pronounce something, that doesn't mean it's bad.
Agreed. I've had to learn that. I used to think that. I'm like, all natural ingredients, I want to know. But it's like, no. And like, I used to think, no, I want to avoid everything, even Tylenol. But like, because I became ill and I had no choice, I'm like, sometimes you do need medicine. Sometimes you do need these other chemical things. Even for, you know, I said I was into fashion and beauty. Like, even when it comes to beauty products in the face, sometimes you do need things like peptides or ceramides to moisturize your skin barrier. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just want to use coconut oil. That's not going to avoid wrinkles long term. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And everything is chemical based. We're chemical based.
Right.
You know,
eating
an apple is chemical based. There's a chemical component to it. I can't remember the formula, so please don't ask me, but there is a formula to it. And it looks like, you know, a bunch of C's and H's and O's and all of that stuff that comes together to make the apple. That doesn't mean don't eat the apple anymore. It means eat the fucking apple, because it is good for you. And if you need food and it's peanut butter and jelly, eat the fucking peanut butter and jelly, because you're at least getting something in you. You know, we got to stop this whole thing of you've got to eat like I eat. If you want to do Mediterranean diet, do that. If you want to do hamburgers and macaroni and cheese diet, do that too. Whichever makes it work for you. Because especially as disabled people, we can't do a one size fits all.
No, and that's the heart. That's one thing that I, as becoming disabled now, I can't stand for more than 10 minutes, honestly.
Me too.
And I can't stand I used to be a cook. That's actually what I started social media for, was making recipes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I no longer do that anymore. Passion was cooking. And now I have frozen meals. Like I need something in the microwave under 3 minutes. And like, I try to get organic. I try to get as healthy as possible. But my dad, I live with my family. My dad judges me all the time. He's like, you need to eat more natural and whole foods and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but I'm also disabled and ill. I'm trying my best. And I've seen a nutrition and dietitian, and they're like, you're doing really good for your situation. Like, and they have that understanding. They're like, you're disabled, you're ill, you have limited time, you have limited energy, you're limited capabilities. So I do the best with what I can do. And then also, I'm disabled and ill. There's a lot of suffering and pain in my life. I want to enjoy a fucking delicious world's best mac and cheese from Whole Foods. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's not the healthiest, but like, I want the yummy stuff every now and then. I'm going through a lot. Like, maybe I'll order a pizza from Pizza Hut because I just want to enjoy a treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it
and
tastes good.
It does. And, sometimes those extra chemicals make the cheese better or whatever. And I'm not saying go for the high fat diet or eat ultra processed foods. If you can avoid it, try.
Yeah, just try your best. That's all we can do.
Yes. But if you can't avoid it, that's okay too. As long as you're getting some sustenance, not substance. That's what matters. And it's all about proportions. Don't eat 50 apples in one sitting. Granted, you will be in the bathroom for a while if you do that.
That would not go well.
But do the best that you can. Don't listen to people who, the best way to put it is, if somebody's telling you something and it's advice, what do they gain from it? Are they telling you because they genuinely care for you? Are they telling you because they don't understand what you're going through? Or are they telling you because they've got this great offer of 50% off of this new, thing over here type of, what are they doing it for?
Yeah.
And I think we, as a society and as people, we need to kind of focus on that too. Follow the money trail. Where is the money taking you? And if there is no money trail, then more likely it's a genuine reason. It's a genuine care. I don't want to see you hurt. But, if RFK Jr. or somebody else is suddenly saying you should avoid chemicals at all costs, and then they tell you to buy this unregulated, completely devoid of all the, ingredients in it that could be put into those lovely pills that they like to try and peddle to you. Who's benefiting from that if I take those?
We need to start wrapping it up, but I had one more question before we go. In your intro, you had mentioned that you are on the board of the Healing and CPTSD Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about that foundation and what how they help, what they do?
Yeah. Oh my God, they do so much. And it's just this one person who is basically managing all of this, and she's starting to get people on the foundation, on the board, advocating. She can't pay anybody, so this is like a volunteer position, board position. But she wants representation of all, whether that's the immigrant community, people of color, women, disabled, chronically ill, neurodivergent. Like, she just wants there to be representation for CPTSD. And she asked me to join as the chronic illness and disability representative, and I'm so passionate and happy about it. And I don't think it's talked about enough about, well, CPTSD trauma in general can lead and cause and exacerbate health conditions and disability and illness, but also being ill, being disabled is traumatic in itself and can also cause CPTSD too. So there's like a cycle almost there. And I feel very much so that I already knew all this stuff, but I've also learned it more because I'm representing it, that I'm realizing more and more that even just going to the doctor and hospital and getting treatments like that in itself is trauma,
Yeah.
Yes. I want to kind of talk a little bit about that, because that is so true. That is something that I didn't even know. That going constantly to the doctor appointments, getting gaslit or ignored or having to argue with them are forms of trauma.
That is trauma. Yeah, being gaslit by doctors is trauma.
But they never like talk about that. They never tell you these things. So like you think trauma as in like, you know, a gunshot wound or a car accident. They never say that
Abuse.
It you know, some sort of abuse can happen via, well, you look fine. They don't say that. It's always, you know, more egregious type of abuse that they talk about. And I think it is very important that we say that just going to the doctor a bunch can be traumatic.
Yeah.
Dealing with the pain.
And because of what you just said, when you are gaslit, you think it's your fault.
Right.
Because you don't understand the trauma behind it, so you just think you're crazy.
Yeah, and I did, to be honest. I thought I was kind of crazy. And I stopped taking certain medicines because I thought, well, it must be in my head. And it turned out it wasn't. And that I don't want other people to do that either. You know, because it's not in your head. If you feel the pain, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, so I know that I gave you guys my intro about being part of the healing and PTSD, and I was thinking a little bit about that might come up in conversation, and I was like, let me just search up, because we don't talk about medical trauma enough. What is the definition of trauma? I searched it up. Trauma refers to anything that's deeply distressing or disturbing that significantly impacts an individual's mental, emotional, physical, and well-being. We can define trauma for ourselves. If we feel like a nurse who is doing a terrible job poking our veins over and over again and having to do that over and over again, several months for several years for a lifetime, being chronically ill, like that's CPTSD. That's trauma, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. And I thank you for, you know, bringing that up, because it is true. So many things can be defined as trauma that unless you are in that area, you don't necessarily realize it, because nobody talks about it. Nobody tells you these things. You know, you think of trauma based on how it's portrayed in movies and TV show, not the fact that, like you said, you know, getting a shot or getting blood taken by a nurse who doesn't know what the hell they're doing and constantly bruises you and causes you even more pain on top of the pain you're already feeling. That is trauma.
Yeah, I posted a video about just general things, medical trauma, and I think it's one of my most seen videos, most commented on. I cried reading the comments, like people just saying all this, like they were just pouring all their trauma stories about medical trauma, and people were saying this isn't talked about enough. And I want to keep having the conversation about it online. I do. That's what I'm doing, you know?
And thank you for that, because we need that. Because we can't heal anything. We can't make anything better if we don't know every aspect of what is making us ill and just hurt. Because there isn't a cure for everything. But sometimes being able to survive and not want to kill yourself and to keep going is understanding all the aspects of it, and that you're not alone, and it's not just you. It's honestly because our system is built to oppress people.
The hell of a way to end.
Yes. My brilliance is showing. No, I'm
Very,
kidding.
very sad.
I don't mean to be sad. Let's make it happy.
I don't feel, what we're talking about is sad stuff, but I don't feel sadness behind the way you're speaking, Dory. I hear passion and fire and the fighter in you, which
true.
I absolutely love in people. And so I admire that a lot, but I also have the same thing. So maybe I'm just liking the qualities I have in myself there.
No, and I see
agree.
that, and I admire you for that, because we need all of us to fight, and to make it a better place for everybody, we have to fight. And, sometimes you have to see what you want to be. And instead of seeing mediocre and, barely get by, let's show everybody. If you put effort into it, you can make a difference. You can make things better.
Within our own limits. There's so many ways to fight. I did a bed-in protest. Have you guys heard of those?
Mm-hmm.
Bed-in protests? I was like, I want to be out on the streets protesting, but I don't feel good enough to.
Right.
And someone needs to help carry my wheelchair out, and I didn't have anyone to. But I was able to do the bed-in protest. or simply just sharing something online when you're ill and you have limited energy and stuff. Just doing what you can do something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously there's situations where you can't, but generally there's always something you can do, whether it's a little thing, a big thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Bring
think
your
there's
voice out
always
there.
something.
There's
Yep.
always something. And like one thing that I remember reading, and I've mentioned this before, but it's like a chorus. Everybody in, say, the alto section is hitting this beautiful note. But in order to hold that beautiful note longer than possible, some people have to step out, take a breather, and step back in, while the others then step out and come back in. And that's how we have to do it, especially as disabled people, is that sometimes you can be there, you can do it, you're strong enough, and other times you're not going to feel right. You're not going to feel good enough to do it. So let somebody else take over then at that point. And, we take our turns so that we're not burning ourselves out.
I really like that metaphor. That was a good one.
And maybe you guys don't realize it or know it, but you guys are fighting by having just this podcast and putting voices out there. So you're doing what you can too, you're putting a fight out there in a sense.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's admirable.
I'm going to start
Thank you.
crying. So let's wrap it up now.
Before we go, do you want to let people know how they can find you on Instagram and find your advocacy, or even the foundation?
Yeah, everything is chronically ill Mela, so chronically period or dot ill dot Mela on Instagram, Facebook, and I do want to shout out the Healing and CPTSD Foundation. They do everything for them is just straight up healing and CPTSD, no dots or slashes or anything. Very proud to be on the board, very proud of what they're doing. And they're also trying to get CPTSD on the DSM. It's not recognized by the DSM, which is what providers use to diagnose. Right now, PTSD is the only actual diagnosable thing. CPTSD is very much real, and she's doing a big petition for it, and she's doing a lot of advocacy on there. The person who is created the Healing and CPTSD Foundation. Yeah.
And
That's
we
great.
need that because it should be in the DSM. There's so many things that should be in the DSM that aren't, and I don't understand that either. But we need a psychologist and such on here so we can beat them up and tell them, put this shit in there.
Thank you so much for joining us.
thank
This has
you.
been wonderful.
I
Yes,
thoroughly
thank you,
enjoyed
guys.
our conversation, and thank you for being a part of it, and thank you for everything you do. Please, if you need anything, let us know.
Yeah.
Same to you guys, especially with those insurance questions.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by Loudcore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.